Blog Talk Radio.
Hey there! Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Well, happy International Podcast Day, everybody. It is September 30th, 2018, and welcome to Big Blend Radio's special World Travel Party Show. We are streaming live from Tucson, Arizona, and we're your hosts, Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith. We are the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of the digital interactive Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. It's a variety publication that covers travel and music and food and wine. And we also publish Parks and Travel magazine that covers parks and travel. And the next issue comes out tomorrow, October 1st. So check it out. You can get all the magazines. Just go to BigBlendMagazines.com. And we're very excited today, sharing their world travel stories, bucket list adventures, travel tips. Our two featured party guests at the top of the show are travel writers Deborah Stone, or Debbie Stone. We call her the Fire Monkey.
That's right.
She got that name from Bhutan while she was visiting Bhutan from a monk. And then we also have Kristen Henning joining us. So excited to chat with them both because they've both traveled to like almost every continent and,
cool.
you know, gazillions of countries. So very excited. And two things they have in common with us, Nancy, they both like hiking and parks, national parks.
Awesome.
And we're happy about that because we're getting ready to get back on the road full time for about 3 to 5 years or more until we fall apart. We're going to be back on our Love Your Parks tour starting May 2019, so we're gearing up for that. And so it's all crazy shenanigans over here making travel plans. So excited to hear where they've been and get some tips on where we should go when we're traveling full time.
I know one thing. I want a kayak.
I know. We're going to get back in the hey.
I would like to just travel by kayak.
Okay, Nancy. I'll see you there. You know how I like to go round and round in the kayak.
I want to go kayak so a seal will throw an octopus in my face.
Nice.
I know.
Hey, and also we're going to get a taste of America's Southwest, the Wild West, with Steve Schneickert,
cool.
A Hollywood history segment on Billy the Kid and the Outlaw movie. I love that because we got to have, we got to represent America too, not just the world, And it's really exciting to air that again because this was his second Hollywood history segment.
Fun.
He's done so many over the years. He's covered everything. And I found this one and we're like, we got to play that today. So we'll be playing that. And then on the music side of things, we're going to play the song Traveler from the awesome Aussie-American band The Walkabout. We love these guys and we love their music.
Yeah.
And they're going to be back on the show October 21st, Sunday, October 21st. I know. It's going to be a party again. I know. Definitely another reason for champagne in the world every Sunday. That is family tradition around here. And I'm very excited because James Saunders, we just found out a couple days ago, I already had him scheduled to play some of his music. James is out in Cape Town, South Africa, our old hometown, our home country, I should say. And we were going to play some of his music, being over in South Africa, and also because Debbie Stone is on her way there in a few days.
I'm jealous.
And out of the blue, it's like, hey, you know what? I got a brand new singles ready. It's called Only the Best Dancer, or as he may say, Only the Best Dancer. Anyway, so he's going to call in and talk to us from Cape Town today.
That's cool.
And give us a scoop on his new music, and we'll play some more of his music as well. And before we bring our guests on, we want to say thank you to the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association for sponsoring our radio party. We do their second Friday food, wine, and travel show. Guess when? Every second Friday. But it's an awesome, awesome organization, a global network of journalists who cover the hospitality and lifestyle fields and the people who promote them. So if you're a travel writer, blogger, destination management group, check out ifwtwa.org and champagne toast to your brand new awesome website. So again, it's ifwtwa.org. Are you ready to start the party, Nancy?
I think I'm way ahead of you.
I know. You've already had more champagne than me.
That's right.
I've been talking too much. play that music just for the Fire Monkey. That is the official Fire Monkey music, don't you think?
Are we going to the Orient?
Yeah, we are. We are. No, Debbie Stone is one of our special guests today. She is no stranger to Big Blend Radio. She's on every month, sometimes more than that, talking about her recent travel discoveries, adventures, experiences, and we call her Fire Monkey. She got that name when she was in Bhutan, and it has stuck ever since. And it didn't matter if she went to Austria, if she was traveling the Midwest or the South, she's still a Fire Monkey, and she will stay one even when she gets to South Africa. But you can read her articles in Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, as well as Parks and Travel magazine, and all kinds of publications online and in print. So welcome back, Fire Monkey. How are you, Debbie?
Well, hello there, ladies. Yes, I know this name is really sticking quite well.
There, you can't.
Well, you know what? It's the season for you because all the trees look like they're on fire, so you should be swinging from trees, Fire Monkey.
Oh.
You know. So and you're based in Santa Fe, but where were you born, and where was the first destination that you went to outside of your?
Oh my gosh! I was born and raised in the Chicago area. And, I was really fortunate to have parents, particularly a mother who really had kind of wings on her feet, so to speak. And she just she was a very curious woman who loved people, loved places, history. And so, there were 3 kids, and we'd be piled into the station wagon, and we'd just take off. And it was, often to wherever we could get to from Chicago, which, could be the East Coast. It could be, I remember taking a train out to Colorado for the first time and seeing the Rockies and staying at Estes Park. And I remember going to Gettysburg and, all the, Williamsburg, all the East New England sites and East, Coast sites and Boston. And they were just, my parents were travel was very important to them, and they saw it as just a real enriching of education and extension of education. And so I used to laugh at that time because a lot of my friends were in Chicago. It was like winter, and they were going, down to Florida, and they'd come back with their wonderful tans, and I'd be, going to, like I said, going out, to some historical site and bringing back a keychain from something, and that was my souvenir, but it was so much more enriching for me, and I think. I made the connection between history, when you're reading something and it's history, and then history comes alive when you actually go there. And they were also just real big outdoor nature people. National parks were really important to them. And so I know that they passed that appreciation, that respect, that love of nature and the environment to me, and which I did to my kids, just knowing that these are nature's playgrounds, and they're some of the most dramatic and stunning scenery in our country, and thank goodness we have them, and that we hope to preserve and conserve them. But that those became some of my wonderful memories as vacations as well.
Awesome. Now, everyone, again, you can keep up with Debbie in Parks and Travel magazine and also Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. Again, just go to bigblendmagazines.com and you'll be able to connect to everything. And she's also on Twitter at TravelStoneDeb. I think you should have at Fire Monkey. But anyway, I want to bring our next guest on, and she knows she just found out we have champagne every Sunday, and so she ran to go get some. And Kristen Henning is the co-publisher of TravelPast50.com. That's 50, TravelPast50.com, and has also traveled the world and into parks and hiking and history. But welcome to the show, Kristen. How are you?
Thank you. I'm only a little bit out of breath for having run to the kitchen to grab I didn't have champagne open. I drank that yesterday, so I grabbed some white wine.
Well, you go, girl.
There you go.
And
I like it.
So you travel full time, right?
Yes. We have been, my husband, Tom Bartell, and I have been traveling full time since 2010. I have to say that I'm taking a bit of a pause right now, and we're doing separate things because I'm taking the next 6 weeks or so to babysit a new granddaughter.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
I'm actually home now for the longest I've ever been home.
Wow. That's so odd. Like Nancy and I traveled for about 4 years on the road, 3 years with our Spirit of America tour, which is now called Love Your Parks tour, because we realized that every park needs to be documented and covered, no matter if it's a city park, county park, state park, national park, BLM land. It all needs to be covered and documented. And we had to stop for a bit. You have these moments, and of course, things change. Websites, publishing. I know you have a publishing background as well, and we're getting ready to be back on the road. And we, when we first started, we're like, okay, we're going to do 5 years. Now we're saying 3 to 5 years, but we really feel like this is going to be the one where it's until we fall apart.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm telling people, until we fall apart and melt.
What caused you to pause? Why
Publishing,
did you pause?
internet with what we do, because we do video and magazines.
Just blame it on Google.
Yeah, blame it on Google and having to redevelop things halfway through. But it was really good because you could download what our goal was, to visit and cover every single national park unit and their gateway communities. And that's a lot. There's over 417, I think we're at now. And it just really, we had to publish some more. So we found ourselves staying at our headquarters hotel, the Coronado Motor Hotel in Yuma, a little longer than we expected. And we thought, okay, we need to just breathe and then go back on the road again. So we're getting ready to
traveling is having a moment to digest and for us to write about or share through photography or by whatever means. It's very valuable to have that moments of downtime, whether they're on the road or back at home.
Now, what about, where were you born? And now I'm going to say, now you're in Minneapolis now, right? So
I was born in Minnesota and educated here in St. Cloud, Minnesota, which is north of the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Raised my family in Minneapolis, and right now I have a landing pad here although we did not have any base at all for about 6 years. Now for the last couple we've had a condo to sleep in when we're in town.
Yeah. Yeah, you need that. You need the landing pad. Where was your first destination that you remember as a child?
Oh, wow.
Well, going back to what Debbie was saying, our family vacations were generally in northern Minnesota. We would go up to the Boundary Waters, and I felt, I guess, connected deeply in two ways in Minnesota. One is that I've always lived within spitting distance of the Mississippi River, and that's a big deal for me personally, and my love of rivers. And then our vacations were in the Boundary Waters, and we would be really stepping. There was a monument behind one of the cabins that we stayed in several years successively that was a continental divide, the Laurentian Divide, water flowing north into the Hudson Bay and south into the Mississippi Basin. That thrilled me, and I could also stand with 1 foot in Canada and 1 foot in the UnitedTes. That made a big impression on me. Yeah. So I guess Canada was my first.
The North American split.
But
that's right.
Where you can stand 1 foot in California and the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Yuma.
Yeah, one in Arizona and the other foot's in California.
And it's called Paradise.
But the bar, you can't play while you're standing on the divide.
No.
You have, unless your hands are really long.
Yeah. But it's fun. They have 2 different tax laws, too.
Yeah, so it's like, I played here, but I really won over here.
And I want to win over there more than I want to win over here. That's,
I want to be not taxed over here.
I don't want to be taxed ever, but, that's just the way it goes, So this is fascinating. You both have been to so many countries, pretty much all the continents. Was it, Debbie, almost 100 countries? I've been almost in a book or something?
Yeah, I've almost been. It's been about almost 100 countries, all 7 continents, and I believe 49 states now. I've got one I think left, but I have this big map in my office, and I have pins, and I put the pin in,
Cool.
and but then I look at the world and it's huge, and there are swaths of it that I haven't been to, and it's to me that's the beauty of travel is there are so many places, and there continues to be so many places, and every time I hear about a new place, or even returning to a place that I've been to, or maybe I was years ago, and rediscovering it and finding new surprises, and finding that places do change, people do change, and so finding that some are more evolving in that respect, others really very traditional. So it's one of those things that I think that I'll never tire of, only because it's just the world is so large with so much to see out there and so much to learn that I'm people always say, oh, you've been all over the place, and it's like, well, I've been to many places, but I haven't been all over the place.
But she's got pins. Watch out. There's something about a fire monkey and pins that just makes me kind of feel like, I don't know, something's going to happen there. Something's going to happen.
I am going to curse the monk that gave me that name that I passed on.
You can't.
You can't curse your own fire. You can't curse your fire. Now listen. Now you're going voodoo-like, okay?
Yeah,
That's your element.
Don't touch any dolls.
No, what is the part you don't like? The fire or the monkey?
Well, the explanation. I mean, it has to do with the whole Buddhism and the whole calendar and the whole and it's when he told me who I was after speaking to me through an interpreter and talking to him, it was everything really matched up with who I am and my personality and the way and it was kind of like, wow, this really does. This does make sense, So, I mean, I think I am kind of stuck with it, but.
Hey, you got fire monkey. I got named, in Kenya, I was named Kasuku as a kid, which is a parrot, because I talk too much. And so that lived into its name. And so, Kristen, okay, so you've done what, over 65 countries, 6 continents, so you're racking up all the numbers here too, but I need to know if you've ever been given a name.
Yeah.
Well, I've been given many names, none of which I'll repeat right here because I don't really want any of those names to stick, but I'm working on new names, and I'm really interested in Bhutan. I have not been there yet, but we are making our first trip to India in December, and we've got some free time after some work there, so Bhutan is on the list. I think you're talking me into it right now. I'll come back with a name.
There.
You got to report back with your name.
You have to report back with your name.
Okay.
So any tips, Debbie, for Kristen going to Bhutan?
Bhutan is, to me, it's one of these mesmerizing places. I think, the longer you are there, the more you really understand the place, but it is very entrenched. And I did a Buddhist immersion type of experience, and so I spent a lot of time at monastery. I spent a lot of time with monks. I spent a lot of time understanding and trying to understand, because it certainly is something that takes years to really grasp. And, the practices, the rituals, the traditions that are so much a part of the fabric of the culture, you can't separate the two. And so it was, an incredible, enriching experience for me. I think, if you can spend time with the people and not necessarily always, the attractions are there, of course, there's wonderful temples and, places to see. And I just think that spending time with the people, if you can, going and into a monastery, and if you can have the chance to talk with the students there, and perhaps the lama, the monk, the head monk, it to me was, it really helped me to get, I think, a deeper respect, a deeper understanding of that country.
Well,
not only
wonderful,
not
and
only
that's
the
really
fact
the key in all travel, isn't it?
Yes,
you'll see the attractions, but it's really the communication with people there that is the gist of it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that is interesting, because we can be shy people, and none of us sound shy, but I'm actually a very quiet introvert person. Yeah, I know.
I'm sitting right here.
I know, but it's true. Like, and we both. Well, Nancy has her way. I have my way. And yet some of us are introverted in some things. Nancy's got, she's colorful in a lot of ways. So I was going to say that. And there's an interesting part of travel in the communication. Kristen, traveling with your husband, here we are, a mother-daughter team, which can get interesting. Do you take different roles as travelers when you're traveling together in who does what in communication and planning?
Oh, that's really interesting because prior to traveling full-time together, we were partners in a business together. So we've, raised a family and run a business and now travel together. So, yeah, there's always a division of labor. We check in with each other on those important things like travel planning.
I like that.
We're really for business owners, we don't plan very well, I guess, and so it's true we don't plan ahead a lot in our travels. As time goes by, Tom prefers to actually book the hotels or accommodations or air. But I'm the one on the ground that will kind of figure out the day's itinerary, and I'm the navigator. I'm the map person, so he can wander around aimlessly and be perfectly happy. He'd rather just know that I know where I'm going and not pay any attention to where he is. When he has to, he can find his way home. But
this is interesting. This is it because there is this balance, and I learned how to read a map and get into this world where Nancy's taking me all over the place. And when I was in 13, she decided to do a 2-year tour in South Africa, where Debbie's going next, for the Cancer Association with her wildlife art. And she ended up, getting a magazine at the end of this whole thing, and starting one or taking it away from the publisher that she was working with who didn't pay his bills. But anyway, she took me on the road.
Some dirty laundry.
And now next thing you know, and I was homeschooling and I was going to all the places in my history book, which was awesome, but I was learning how to navigate and giving her directions. And so if she took a right, I would turn the map to the right. And so if she took a left, I'd turn the map to the left. So we ended up in some really, really interesting places.
I think that Lisa personally invented the roundabout.
And then I just go, that's how I kayak. I keep going around in circles. And, that's how it happens. Debbie, you also travel with your husband quite a bit.
Strengthening your left arm.
Yeah, well, I have a rod in my left arm, so that's a lot of strength.
Oh my gosh,
that's holding.
I shouldn't go anywhere near the Bermuda Triangle. All I'm
no. I'm going down. I flew over it twice, and I was like, come on, take me down. I want to see what's there.
No,
nothing happened.
No, you're going up with the aliens. You know they're coming to take you. Debbie, you and your husband travel a lot and do a lot of hiking together. And I remember you were on the show a little while ago. One was talking about Yellowstone and Grand Teton hiking adventure, and then the one where you did the part of the Wales Coast Path, which I really still want to go on badly. Do you have who navigates?
We both do, and of course, we're fairly strong-willed, independent individuals, and so sometimes we do disagree upon which direction, and so it is interesting. But we usually both are interested in knowing where we're going. Although I do have to say that sometimes when you don't know where you're going or when you get lost, that's when you find the most interesting surprises, I think, in travel. And so sometimes just letting go of that bit of control of like, oh, I need to know all the time. It's kind of like, okay, well, it's if you are a little bit aimless or if you do go off the path, well, maybe you'll find something really cool, or maybe you'll get to talk to somebody really interesting, and that has happened to to us and to me individually when I've been out and about, whether it's been in a small town or a city or even just, hiking, on the Wales Coast path. Yes, there's a clear path, but they actually encourage you in any of the books, the guidebooks, they'll say, go off the path, go this way, and you'll find this.
Don't get
or,
lost.
Get
lost. It's fun.
Yeah. Go ahead and see what's off the path, because what's off the path is often, much more interesting than maybe what's on that beaten path, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I like that. It's true.
My most loved book was called Off the Beaten Track.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that book. And I had the South African book, and we went off the beaten track a whole bunch.
We landed ourselves in a terrorist camp.
Yeah, we went way off.
But anyway, that was fun. That was interesting. I mean, it is.
That was interesting, yes.
Yeah, interesting is a good word.
That was some quick driving. Come on, give me props for really fast reversal
and
technique.
And at that point, there was no map left. But with both of you being travel writers, that's, I think, something that's really interesting when you do these media trips. I know that both of you are members of the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, and organizing press trips. There is this thing, I think, of sometimes wanting to have that free time for travel writers to be able to discover that. Do you both find that, Kristen, when you're traveling, if you're going, do you do those kind of scheduled media trips, or do you kind of do your own thing?
Very, very rarely. I, however, just came back from a media trip to Greece, the Carpathos Island, which was phenomenal, and it was a very small group, only 6 of us, so I felt like we had plenty of time to talk to people on our own and just sort of absorb it individually. It was a really great group. So we do this very, very rarely, and a lot of times when we have been on an organized trip, it's through, in the past couple of years anyway, it's been through the Adventure Travel Trade Association. And it's been a phenomenal experience because they are really using local tour providers who are trying to learn their craft better, to share best practices. It's a really good organization, both environmentally speaking and for promoting active travel. We come into those as kind of the old folks, and as it were, we're the token old people. But, absolutely love the camaraderie of again, those small groups, and it's usually ahead of or behind a conference. So it's worthwhile. But otherwise, no, we're totally independent travelers. We don't do tours. I think the closest we come to doing things like that is a river cruise. We don't do cruises, but river cruises we have enjoyed. Yeah, the Viking river cruises, and we've done Viking in China and Russia and in Europe. So we have found those to be good, and we remind ourselves always that we can diverge from the group, and we enjoy diverging from the group.
Right. I think these media trips are really good, especially for someone just getting started, and also to network and get to know people. I just always think that, I think when it gets so big, then you need to just focus on one topic or something. You know what I mean? I think it's just this interesting balance. And there's some, everybody has a different style of how they do this. Debbie, for you do a lot of kind of the adventure companies, right? The actual guides. You go off with them. It seems like what you did in the Smoky Mountains, even the Wales Coast one.
I think, I would say that I think organized media trips have their place. I'm similar to Kristen. In fact, I'd probably do very few of those. I'd prefer to kind of do my own thing. There's a lot more freedom and flexibility, and it gives you, I think, the chance to really take in at your pace, at your whatever level you wish, versus kind of being shepherded around and this is what you're going to see, this is what you're going to eat, this is good, that kind of thing. And so I think they do have their place, and I've certainly done several over the years, and perhaps when I started out I was doing a little more, but then I really kind of thought to myself, I'd be on one of those trips thinking, gee, I'd love to spend more time at blah, 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 or, there's just, not enough hours in the day because they scheduled us too much. So I think for me, it works better if I do my own thing, if I can take my husband with me, or I take a friend, or even just going by myself. Solo travel is definitely an interesting experience. You really, I think, truly, you're by yourself, and a lot of times you really find out a lot about yourself when you're traveling solo, I think, especially as a woman. Yes, I do love outdoor adventures. I'm not a niche travel writer. I don't have a special niche. I really am all over the board. I love outdoor stuff, like you said, outdoor adventure, but I also love cultural experiences. I love history. I love wellness. I love, I try not to put myself in a box when it comes to travel, because there's so much that interests me. So I don't want to be known as, oh, she's the travel writer that writes.
That's why she writes about for Big Blend.
Yeah.
There is
that narrows it down.
Yeah, and, that's the thing too. It's like I think that's the same thing with you, Kristen. Travel Past 50. It's like, hey, we're traveling everywhere. I love going on your site because you get to click on the map of where you are and where the articles are. It's here. Here's everything from Russia, and here's, so it's like, hey, this is cool. It just, I think sometimes it's such an interesting world now where everything has to be themed. It's like, oh, you do this and you only do that, and you're kind of boxed in because of the marketing side of it and the SEO of search engines and all that,
right?
The Google monster.
Googly stuff that we don't, want to deal with as travel writers.
Yes.
And I think it you have to really work hard to get the audience that understands and wants something new. We've got to this point as society where, I mean, even on the political front, it's like we only read these things, and let's not stretch our minds to the other side, So I think it's really important where travel writing is going in regards to stretching people's minds, getting them to think outside the box and to look beyond the screen and beyond the news and the talking heads, and to go out and explore and get to have those interactions with people, because when you bring the culture in, it solves everything. You get to understand everybody's sides. I do want to ask each of you one really odd experience, thinking about going out and stretching out and never knowing what it, have you had one of those things like, now that was odd, but I'm going to go and do it anyway? Or like, Debbie, you kissed the fish in Newfoundland. If I'm saying that right, Newfoundland.
No, you're I think you're going to be forever challenged by this particular word, but it's Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Okay. So, I mean, you kissed the fish there. So there's things that happen on travels or on the road that you go, what? So I want to know I want to know the weird and wonderful.
Well, definitely that was, I think, weird and strange. That was that screech ceremony, which they do to try to make you kind of the honorable Newfoundland status, so to speak, and it certainly was I wasn't prepped for it. I wasn't even told anything about it. I just was in a bar, and all of a sudden it was, oh, we're gonna do the screech ceremony, and so I was like, I found myself up in center front, and kissing a codfish and reciting some incredibly hysterical Newfoundlandese expressions, and drinking screech, which is a type of rum that was given the name when somebody tried it and screeched so loudly that the Newfoundland man said, "Well, that's the screech, my boy," and it became known as the screech. And so anyway, that was definitely a ceremony that or an experience, an event that I never could have imagined that I would be doing. But it was definitely very colorful, and I think that everybody watching me in the audience certainly got a lot of laughs. So
you kiss the fish and screech. I like that. I like that. But what about you, Kristen? We want to know. We want your scandal.
I think for us, it's just it's sort of a continual surprise that we are as active as we are, and we keep engaging in new activities. My first time stand-up paddleboarding was in the Galapagos. I had just had knee surgery. I didn't know if I could stand, much less on a stand-up paddleboard, and it was great. Both of us walked the Camino de Santiago back in 2011, I think.
Oh wow!
And we didn't really know what we were getting into, but we absolutely loved it. And what we protected was our time on the Camino, and just being sure that we were taking it at our own pace. We felt so fortunate that we weren't on a timeline and had to have a destination each day, that we could decide as we went how far we would go, how far we would hike. It was an incredible experience, and now we're looking at hiking St. Olaf's Way across Scandinavia.
Wow.
That would be next summer. So it's just, and speaking of Newfoundland, in maritime Canada, I had an experience with the Via Ferrata, the rock climbing, when cables are already in place. That was an incredible experience, and I was in the footsteps and with the guide who has climbed 7 highest peaks on each of the continents, and is an ice climber trainer, and fabulous person, and so enthusiastic. He even got Tom to do a what do you call the zip line. Tom would never do a zip line. Yeah,
that is cool.
So I mean, it's doing those things that are a little bit out of your comfort zone, based on the enthusiasm of the people you're with, or the fact that you need to get across that river, and you have to figure out how to wade through it.
How to go straight in the kayak? Yeah, well, right. Don't we all have some kind of fear of something that just really makes us uncomfortable? So there's like, for me, driving the Continental Divide and really feeling like I could just turn the wheel by a hair, and there we go. We're going to Thelma and Louise down.
I know. We're like,
I have like a Thelma and Louise weird thing that something happened in my past life. I swear. I don't know. I
travel with Lisa with a parachute strapped on my back just in case.
No, and I have that Okrabi Falls. If you go to the Kalahari, by the way, in South Africa, Debbie, try to go to Okrabi Falls.
Okay.
But anyway, this area.
And walk across
and
it.
No, we had to do that stupid bridge made out of rock. And basically you're climbing over a ravine that's like a mini Grand Canyon. And you're climbing over these rocks to get over it. Like, seriously, even thinking and talking about it right now freaks me out. So I want to know about, like, absolute, like, that fear.
And then white footprints, the Klipspringer Trail, little white footprints of a little baby antelopes. Like, here's the way over this boulder, and you're like, yeah, right.
No.
Because you're on your hands and knees. Because that's the only way you're doing it.
As they say in South Africa, achnia.
Achnia, man.
I know. See, we're getting ready for James coming on the show here. I got to watch it. Champagne and language. But Debbie, any like absolute fear parts?
Well, talking about what Kristen does, I was in Switzerland, and so the same thing, the Via Ferrata, and also the rappelling, and I mean, heights are definitely challenging for me, but I consistently put myself in those positions because I feel like I don't know, makes me feel really alive for some reason, and then I just feel also this incredible sense of accomplishment, and sometimes it happens because there's a little bit of peer pressure, and also there's also the feeling like I really want this story, and in order to get the story, I want to really do the experience and not just watch it, because I feel like when I write about something, I want to write about it from the first person. It's something that I've personally experienced. So, yeah, Via Ferrata was definitely a stretch for me, but I had a Swiss mountain guide who was, really, really good at assisting every step of the way and giving me the confidence, and then rappelling, which I had never really done. And so, doing those kinds of things, there's definitely a fear base to it. Every time I zip line, the same thing, but I love it. There's a sense of adrenaline and this exhilaration that happens, and I don't want to miss out on it.
She's a monkey.
I don't want to miss out on it. I just don't want to miss out on it. And so I tell myself that fear is motivating me because I know that when I actually experience it, I'm so happy I did.
I love that. I think it's true because you push yourself. Yeah. Kristen, were you going to say something there?
Yeah, I think for us too, a lot of it is beyond the thrills of a moment like that, which are really important. It's the endurance of traveling and the endurance of hiking and the endurance of kayaking. That we just did a bike trip through southern Italy, and every time you start a new excursion like that, whether it's hiking or biking, you really have a lot of self-doubts. Let's face it. You're just not sure of the terrain. You're not sure if it's going to be too difficult for you. Your palms get a little sweaty. But really, once you start, you are focused on that and on it, and it's bringing you right down to earth. It's bringing you right to the local coffee shop where you end up at 10 o'clock in the morning. I've got started today. That's all you needed, And now I earned my cup of coffee, and that's such a rewarding part of active travel.
Oh, I agree. I agree. The endurance in anything, it's like when we started our tour of parks, we put a time on it just so people would be comfortable that, hey, we're going to give up everything and go, which is what we did. We gave up everything and gave it all away, and what it was interesting is when we came back and slowed down for a bit just to republish websites and redo things and magazines and all of this stuff we had to do.
Right.
We were downloading all this information, and then we're like, this is a lifelong quest. This is something that we're going to do really until we're like ash in the ocean, And one lady I was talking to is a good friend of ours, and we met in the Sequoias, and she said, I'm so glad to hear that because we were all scared that you were going to stop after 5 years. And for us, that was never the thing.
No.
It was just trying to make sure everybody else was comfortable with what we were doing on this adventure. Yeah. But it's really this endurance thing. You have to be aware of it in regards that you don't sprint too fast as well when you travel.
Well, you miss too much if you go too fast.
You have to take it, you take it at whatever pace that is comfortable for you. And I think that's the most important thing. I think when people are traveling is not to feel this sense of like incredible urgency all the time, like they have to see or do or whatever, but to take it as it comes and really appreciate and savor it, because I think sometimes people, go on these travel experiences and come back and it's been a whirlwind and they don't remember some of the more special moments because they were so busy in an urgent kind of manner going from one thing to the other. And I think getting back to this whole aspect of being active, I think when you explore a destination or a place in an active manner, you get so much more a sense of the place and of the people when you're actively involved, whether it's walking, trekking, hiking, biking, kayaking, whatever it might be, skiing, whatever it is, you are in touch with the ground, the place, and to me, versus, sitting in a car, sitting in a bus, sitting in a van, whatever it is, and just kind of passively watching as things go by, being really using your body in a physical manner, to me, is the best way to really get that sense of place.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Absolutely.
You got to walk the streets.
Mm-hmm. You both love to hike, and this is one of our final questions here, because I know time-wise we got to stay on time. Gee. The thing is, we have a Facebook group called 1 Hour Walk, and it was our way, because one of the things we noticed, I know, Debbie, you've heard us talk about this, is when we talked about national parks, and this is what I really love about this conversation with both of you about that active part. A lot of people thought that you had to be like a really major active athlete to be able to go into our national parks. And, if you're going to go to Mount Rainier, you need to know how to backpack and have all the gear and all that stuff. Yes, that's one part of it. And so a lot of people didn't realize like how many accessible areas there are to walk. Just take a walk. And even if you're in a stroller or, pushing a stroller as a mom taking her kids out or something, there are
Absolutely.
these places that everyone can do. You can take an easy walk and soak it up. We're not good at moving fast because we're not. We drink too much champagne for that. But no, I mean, it really is about looking at every little bug on a plant,
Well, yeah.
So anyway, we started this group. It's a small little group of us, 1hourwalk.com. Everyone, you go there on Facebook. And actually, one of the bands we're playing, he's really active in that. So I wanted to ask, if you're going to take a walk anywhere in the world, where would it be? And sometimes it's really cool to have a partner to kind of, you want to meet someone, and taking a walk and going through a thought process is amazing. So if you could walk with anyone, who would it be? They could be alive, they could be passed on, it could be like Einstein or whoever you want. Who would it be, and what are you going to talk about? So let's start with you, Kristen. Where do you want to take your 1 hour walk?
Wow, that's a great question. I am going to say Pablo Neruda. That's assuming he's alive again, in Chile, and we would start at his home that's got a name. It's on the coast, outside of Valparaiso. I can't remember the name of the town, but we would walk the coast and talk about poetry and shipping and ocean vessels. That's the short. That's off the top of my head.
It sounds like a Peter, Paul, and Mary song.
I know. But all I can say is I've never had that answer.
Up tonight and have 5 different better answers, but I don't know why that popped into my head.
See, this is why we don't prepare
cool.
our guests for these kind of questions, because
like
about the candid part of it is like it's the thing. It's it. That's how travel is too. It's like, here, you're going to turn left. You got to go now. The bus is coming. Turn the map. Debbie, for you, 1 hour walk. Who, where? What's the gossip?
I think. I know that I would love to walk with somebody like like Margaret Mead, or somebody who's like that has really studied anthropology and studied people, and I'd love to be, and I don't even know, and where it could be anywhere, but perhaps somewhere that where there's such a very exotic culture, whether it's it's in Southeast Asia or whether it's in Africa or wherever. I think I would just love to pick her brain about people and origins and just cultural traditions, and personally some of my favorite walks are just here in the United States. I mean, basically here in Santa Fe at the top of the mountain, looking at the leaves and the aspens, or at Maroon Bells near Aspen in Colorado, which is remarkably gorgeous. It's just to me, just being with somebody who could talk to me about anthropology, I think would be fascinating, that or talking to somebody who, like Ansel Adams, who, whose photography of the Sierras and talking about nature and just somebody who I could really pick their brain about, whether it's people or nature, I think would be fascinating for me.
I love that. I love that. Now, last question. bucket list. Now we all have bucket lists, right? And you ladies, your bucket lists have been, you've got that list marked off quite a bit. So where have you not been on your bucket list that you want to go? One place. I'll start with you, Kristen.
Oh, well, I always resist the term bucket list. Because I'm always so happy to return to a place and get to know it better.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
We're really thrilled to be going to India. That is new for us. So, that's it right now, and we're still exploring. This is just coming up in a couple months, where to spend another couple of weeks, either in India or nearby. So Bhutan is there, maybe Sri Lanka, maybe I don't know, maybe Nepal. So that's at the top right now because that's very immediate.
I'm so like a little bit green over here because India has been at the top of my list. India and Alaska are the two places completely opposite, but they're like at the top.
I have not been to Alaska either.
I think Alaska is going to be amazing, but I really still want to go back to Africa and go through every country with David Attenborough.
Dude, could you imagine that?
And he could just tell me all about ant colonies and ant eaters and all sorts of stuff that don't live there.
Have you seen the ant with a really big butt? There's one.
That's your Aunt Mona. Stop it.
No, stop. Jeez, that's nice. No, it's not. No, they called it the Kim Kardashian ant.
What?
No, it's got this really huge rear end thing.
Wow.
Okay, anyway,
Alrighty
sorry,
then.
that's champagne talking, not me. Africa, to go back at Botswana would be awesome.
I would like to go to every country
in Africa.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Just because when you're in one, you're like looking at the other, going, "Oh man, you just got to cross that border," and it's all
I should
different.
say that Tom is on his way to Malawi next week.
Malawi.
Yeah.
We never got there. We never got there when we lived out there. That's the thing. And it's true. You always want to go back. That's the other thing. Travel. The endurance part, Nancy and I keep going. It is a circular thing, and maybe it is my driving, but we keep going back to the places that we were in because you want to. I can never. Like the stories are never finished.
You just feel like you missed something.
Exactly, the stories are never finished. So it is.
The more you see, the more you want to see.
I know, Debbie, your bucket list.
Well, first of all, I want to say do go to Bhutan and do go to Alaska. I lived in Alaska for a number of years, and it is probably one of the most unique environments ever, and it's truly very, very special place to visit.
Thank you, Debbie. I'll be talking to you more.
Yes, absolutely. For me, I'm going to I'm going to South Africa, and I am going to Botswana and Namibia and Zimbabwe and to South Africa, and so that is has been on my list. I had been to East Africa, but I had not been to South Africa, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And I also would like to add that eventually I would love to go to Rwanda and see the gorillas. I would love to. That's also been on my list. And I've also been wanting to go to Myanmar, which I am slated to go in January. So I have many places that I still want to go. And like Kristen, I kind of avoid the bucket list thing because I just look at these as just wonderful places and destinations in the world that I would love to explore. But I also would love to go back to many places that I absolutely adored, like New Zealand or Patagonia, or I would love to go back and take more time and explore more parts of these places. So there's always something, and that's the most exciting about it. Is a never-ending, infinite type of experience, and that's what's so, I think, pleasurable and so satisfying and rewarding for people who travel, whether you write about it or you don't, or it's just for people knowing that there's so much out there.
It's true. Lisa and I have ended up living in just about every place we traveled to.
Yeah.
I mean, when we went to different countries, we ended up living in England.
You either stay a place a year,
yeah.
2 or 3 years. And after
like,
3 years, like now it's time to go again because it's 3 years.
Right.
3 years is the cutoff point. That's it. You've gone too far.
The 3 year itch.
It is. That's it's like I have a constant midlife crisis. But I think before you go, ladies, the bucket list. I think you're both right because I saw someone post it's not the bucket list, it's the living list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the
and
bucket
I
list
prefer
is
that.
like, let's get it cramming as much as we
can. Yeah, and you don't want to keep walking around saying bucket list if you drink too much champagne. Just saying. Just saying. I got to throw that out there. But ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Such a pleasure. So inspiring. And I got itchy feet, and that's good because we're going to be traveling soon. So everybody, again, Debbie's articles, you can find them if you go to bigblendmagazines.com. That'll connect you directly to both Big Blend Radio and TV magazine and Parks and Travel magazine. You'll see her journeys from Mexico. I think it was the first time you came on the show was through the IFTWA show, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association show, talking about the Sea of Cortez, Debbie.
Yeah.
And then you've been to Austria. You've been to, oh my gosh, you've been all over. Just thinking of the cruises, the Holland barge cruise. You've been all over the place. And so excited to hear about your adventures in Africa when you come home. So travel safe. And Kristen, such a pleasure having you on the show. Love what you're doing. Everyone, their website, her and her husband, is travelpast50.com. That's 50. So travelpast50.com, and you can connect social media from there. She's always posting beautiful destinations on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So thank you both for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you behave yourselves now.
No, never.
All right, so here it is. We've got James Saunders joining us in a few minutes here from Cape Town, but here it is. We're going to play his brand new single. It's called Only the Best Dancer. So enjoy, and we'll be able to chat with him in a second.
All the finest moments that we shared, all the ways you showed how much you cared, it all seems like a movie now where I played a part. The show is over, a curtain round the heart. Love that you gave me, in all my world, the love that might have saved me, like stars on the darkest night that cannot be numbered, blazing wishes on a highway in the sky. Only the best dancer knows when to leave the stage before the curtains close and the lights turn low. Now the stage is empty and the sweetest memories are the silver lining on a sea torn apart. Living each day like we're forever, waters rushing onward, a flowing river, love cut down to the ground with the stroke of a sickle blade swing, while the long dark night of the soul begins. Only the best dancer knows when to leave the stage before the curtains close and the lights turn to leave the stage before the curtains close and the lights turn low. Now the stage is empty and the sweetest memories are the silver lining on a sea torn apart. Are the silver lining on a seam torn apart.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio's special World Travel Party Show with Nancy and Lisa, the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of Big Blend magazines. You can check it all out at bigblendmagazines.com. And you just heard Only the Best Dancer, and this is a brand new single by James Saunders out in South Africa, in Cape Town area of South Africa. I'm very excited to have him connect back with us on the show. It's been over a year. And you can go to his website, jamessaundersmusician.com, and that's Saunders. James, it's Saunders over there, kind of, right? Saunders. I'm going to get in trouble now. James, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear?
Oh, good. So good to have you back. Yeah, it's been a year and a half, I think, now, huh? Since you've been on the show.
It's been a long time, and thank you for having me back. It's always good to be on the show.
Yeah, wonderful to have you back, and just wonderful music. That song, I think I sent you an email. I was like, it has a little bit of almost all South African culture to me. A little Portuguese in there, a little bit of Dutch, French. It's kind of talk about world music, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a strong Latin theme. Yeah, it's sort of in the process of writing the song. I initially had I wanted it to be a swing song, sort of boom, pa, pa, boom, pa. And then Wayne, my producer, and sort of the guy who does all the mixing, we sat down together, we did some brainstorming, and we decided, well, it's good to have the swing, but it's also good to give it a kind of a Latin flavor. So we settled on a bit of a Latin with that kind of starter guitar, that flamenco sort of. The flick of the hand or the wrist at the end of each stanza, so to speak. That worked out nicely. Very happy with the result. It's got a kind of a somewhat I guess melancholic lyrics, but balanced out with a strong sort of dance theme. The instrumentally is sort of more happy.
It's got that's I think the thing with relationships, right? There's a relationship story.
It's spicy. It's got a little spice to it.
That's a good word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's on your next, like, how do you decide what you're going to do next now?
Oh, it's always quite difficult. I think music is very much a mood that you want to express, and I think that's absolutely the first thing is the mood. You decide on a mood, and then you decide on the lyrics and the tune, and sometimes the lyrics and the tune will sort of be covered together, sometimes individually apart. And then you develop and you sort of embroider the mood of the song, which we call the groove. Wayne and I always use the word groove, but the groove is the mood. And what I'm thinking of next, is something to do with the ocean and summer and relaxation and all of that. But I haven't really put pen to paper on that one yet. So we'll see how it goes. I fiddle around with the guitar and. Things come up for me or they don't. Sometimes for weeks nothing comes up. Sometimes you get this sort of bolt of inspiration that comes out of the blue, and suddenly you've got a song, and it just happens so quickly. But it's always just that time meditation that it takes to sit down and hold your guitar in the hand, and even if there's absolutely nothing that's coming to you, just play and express something. And as you do that, suddenly things happen. Sometimes the magic comes into those very moments where you suddenly you sort of find yourself in that creative space. It's absolutely fantastic when it happens. A little bit like
I wondered because like when you're writing or painting a picture or something, sometimes you get caught up in the series like idea, especially paintings, and after a few paintings you realize, oh my gosh, you're using the same colors. You're not really doing something new. You're just doing the same thing from different perspectives, which there's value in that. And I just wondered with music, how do you, once you're in a mode, so we got a spicy song here, then how do you switch to something else, It's like, how do you turn your brain to something else?
Are you talking about how do you change the song into another kind of genre, or?
No, just how,
how do you know when to stop?
Yeah.
Writing about the same thing and not writing 10 songs of the same nature.
Oh, I see. Well, I think that it comes down to who influences you. I have a lot of influence. I think we all do. We have multiple influences in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly in music, I do. I absolutely love a lot of different genres. And I follow musicians who are from different genres. And the result is a kind of a blend sometimes of, I think we all produce we're all a product of our influences in the long run. And what you produce in the end is kind of a blend of what's influenced you through your life. So I like electronic music. I like folk music. I like flamenco. There's many different genres that I really love that sort of hold my influence. So I can switch quite easily from one to the next and change a song entirely, or create an entirely new song with as much passion as the previous song. So
James, I'm just, when you look at all the songs, all these singles, don't you think it's time for an album? I'm just kind of like an EP album. I know there's the singles market out there in the marketing world of it all, but I'm just saying it's time for like a James Saunders album.
A proper album.
I'm serious.
Lisa, believe it or not, yeah, no, I hear you. Believe it or not, I have an album. My very first one, which was I don't really spend a lot of time promoting. When I was doing a lot of gigs, a lot of restaurant and wine farm gigs and so on, I used to carry my album around and sell it to anyone who wanted, and it was great way of making a little bit of extra money as well. But it was my first album, and I feel, if I look back, I feel that it's kind of, I want to use the word amateur, but it's not really. I would rather put out a second album and feel much more confident about a second album. And so, although I have the first, I am slowly getting enough songs together for a second one.
Good.
And yes, I'll definitely consider an album. I think music, though, in this day and age has changed. It's moved away from albums and CDs and so on, and it's moved, to the realm of singles. Sort of hope that you have a single that people would like to listen to, sort of on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever the case may be. So I've kind of mentally moved away from albums, but having said that, if you do live shows, and I plan to do many more, then an album is a great thing to have. So yes, it is looking towards, definitely.
I hope so, because I love your music. I know Nancy and I both. I mean, whenever you have something new, I get so excited. And the other thing too,
that's so great.
No,
I can't tell you how much I'm touched by that. It's really fantastic that it's wonderful to have fans on the other side of it. I really do appreciate it. And if I may say as well, Apple Music, it's recently went into analytics as an artist who is on Apple Music. I decided that, I think I mentioned to you, Lisa, that a lot of there's a few songs that are really being streamed a lot in it is your part, isn't it? Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Jose. I mean, that's kind of.
You went away, James.
You said it's your. Oh, okay.
Come back.
Am I back?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you hear me?
There's it's going in and out a little bit. So just I don't know why, but it.
Yeah, it was going in and out when I was hearing the song as well. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just keep trying. Saying with Apple Music, there's suddenly an explosion, mini explosion of streaming of even some of the old songs that I would not be especially proud of, but and all the Sacramento, San Jose, California, that area, Los Angeles area, and I think I did mention it to you. Well, that I would guess something to do with Big Blend Magazine. It's
wow.
For
well,
some
good.
obscure reason, it's great, yeah, and even songs, one or two that from my first album. So
wow. Oh, so they're going, because they're finding you out. They're finding out who you are. We play your music quite a bit because, well, we do our shows are.
We like it.
We're a little different in how we do things. We like to match the songs to what's happening and to the content of the show. And your songs are very personable and deep. That touch on could be a personal story. It could be historical stories. Yet they're. We love playing your music. Period. And I think audiences over here enjoy it a lot. And I know that our audience, California, has got to be the biggest audience we have. It's a huge state or province, as you say in South Africa, right? And it's where we started the magazine. It was in California, in Southern California, just outside Los Angeles, San Diego. And the analytics won't give you exactly every little town sometimes, depending on what and where, but California is always going to be the biggest one for us, I think, in Texas and the bigger states. But
also, for some reason, Pennsylvania, way on the other.
Pennsylvania likes us. Hi, Pennsylvania,
hi,
you
we
rock.
like you.
Yeah, but James, I think there's something that is so. You have a very and I know that you spend a lot of time out at the ocean fishing, but your music has a rhythm to it. Like even this one, which has that Spanish flair and a little of the flamenco. And to me, I wanted to say, is that a concertina? But it's an accordion, right? I just go back to some of the days of South Africa with the concertina music and. It does. I mean, in Portuguese music is Latin too, and there's something very in your area. There's a lot of Portuguese history. So,
absolutely.
But when I listen to your music, you have this rhythm that goes with the ocean, that goes with that attention to detail at the same time of being able to be in a flow, in a zone. You know what I mean? Whereas people think attention to detail is analytical, yet at this, and how can you, when you can be, because you've got the technique and the flow at the same time. I think that's really what I'm trying to say, is like you are able to have that flow. Like Mark Knopfler, I liken you to his music. Rycooter.
Yeah, well, that's a very big compliment.
Well, Mark Knopfler and Rycooter to me is still one of those, and that's I think Rycooter. He's got that understanding of a song, where you're not just putting something out there, because you really do pay attention to what you put out. That it's top notch all the way. It's your videos are really good. Yeah, and I think that's it's. Maybe the singles thing is a good thing.
I think what you're trying to say is he knows his craft, and I think when you know your craft, then you have that easy flow. When you're learning your craft, you get a little stiff until you know your craft.
Yeah, you're in the flow.
So when you know the craft, then things flow easier, and I think you're there with that. That's what I think. You sound like you've been doing this forever, and I don't mean in an old way. I mean deep way.
Yeah, soulful.
Yeah. I think also. Go from one song to the next. If I look back 3 years ago and the songs that I was writing and compare it to now, I think every song that you write, you get fussier and fussier about absolute perfection of every tiny detail, and every tiny detail adds up. If you think of, sometimes details seem so trivial. There's one detail here, and there's one thing there, and there's another thing there, and they're all so tiny and they're so trivial. But when you add together, it creates an impression. And even if you play to someone who doesn't know music, they receive an impression of that song, and that impression is made up of all those tiny details. So that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important.
Yeah, and but there's that balance of not overdoing the detail, because then then it becomes this, connect the dots, and then it's just a sea of dots.
But there is a fact to, if you pay attention to the details, that takes care of the big picture.
Exactly. Wow, this is amazing.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I'm just so excited that I was like, hey, just call in. This is so cool. I'm just so glad you're back here. I want to know only the best. I would say dancer now, because now I don't know. As soon as I heard your voice, I'm like, oh boy, I'm going back into South Africa land for me, and my accent's gonna be all messed up by the end of today, and I'll be half Afrikaans now. But when you look at Wheel of Destiny, that's a song that we never got to chat with you about too, and I want to play. We played that on the show, and to me it was very interesting, because I think the first song we played, Freedom Has a Way, and then also, which is such a deep song that to me it speaks volume, and America needs to listen to that song a little bit more.
Well, you just had the I was listening into a little bit of Debbie, and was it Nikki? And then Debbie and
Kristen. Yeah.
Kristen. Their travels, and that song for me sort of takes me back to my travel times and freedom of traveling, the whole freedom side of it. So for me, it's a strong association with travel.
And your travel, since we're on the World Travel Party, right, show here, do you done a lot of travel in South Africa, or did you go overseas much in your travels?
I spent a couple of years just backpacking around the world, and it was always one of the best times of my life. And I wish I could have done that for 10 years or 20 years. That whole thing of waking up in the morning and just living for the day and seeing where life takes you, and trying out new things and trying out new places, and visiting somewhere just for the hell of it because you can, and climbing this mountain and down this river, and so that freedom of spirit that I always sort of associate with that kind of travel, in a way, has remained with me, and in spite of the fact that I'm not currently traveling. So that's how the song was born. It's really sort of, I guess, the travel that one does within oneself, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. South Africa, to me, taught me a lot of travel. To me, I remember when we were on our tour in South Africa, this was, I don't want to date I don't want to put my age out there. Ha ha. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it was like, it's got to be the mid to late 80s that we were traveling on the road in South Africa, and at that point, SATOUR, which is South Africa Tourism Association, they were calling South Africa the world in one country. Because you had the penguins, and I remember the East Coast where we were in Port Elizabeth, we had the penguins, and then you could see ostrich on the beach. To me, there's this magic in South Africa that
it's amazing.
It is just really one of the most beautiful countries, and the people are so amazing. And I understand politics. And whatever, politics, schmolitics, look what's happening in our country, look what's happening in England, look what's happening everywhere, right? It's just, whatever. But if you get and sit down and talk to people, you can get past that. I just believe we have to do that, and I think sometimes music takes that away. Don't you feel music? Because even when your song Freedom Has a Way, to me, there's a travel part, but it's also that you can search for freedom when you're politically oppressed in a country.
Yeah, I think you can relate it to to whatever your situation. I mean, for me, it's sort of for me, it was a song about freedom of spirit. Finding freedom in whatever way. And I think, if you, in that context as well, if you, I haven't thought of, I didn't think of that, but absolutely, I think, different people will find something different in it, but all relating back to the same kind of thing, which is
freedom of
having
spirit.
freedom and finding it. Absolutely, yeah.
Because you got to find it even in the worst places, you know. You still got to find it, even if it's just concentrating on your breath in the worst place, you know. You can always find freedom in some manner, somehow. That strength. Wheel of Destiny. This was a different. So I'm just going from what we've played. We've had Fish Fever because we know you're a fisherman. He loves the ocean. He loves the fish. You've had Silver Ghost was when you first came on our show, and so each song. You've got your signature sound, but Wheel of Destiny, you emailed, you're like, it's a little different. And then, when you emailed Only the Best at, well, this is a little different. I'm like, cool, let's hear it. Wheel of Destiny, I love that. And I love the video, too. It took me back to South Africa with the what do you call it, the
windmills.
Windmill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where was that filmed?
Yeah.
Where did you film it?
That we filmed at a place called near Cape Agulhas. You must know Cape Agulhas?
Yes, Cape Agulhas.
It's the southernmost tip of Africa. So we were there.
Yeah,
we were there. It was just before that we produced the video and did some filming there.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, changed everything to black and white and whatever it was in the particular video. That was interesting. We spoke about it earlier. I've really enjoyed putting my hand to slightly different projects in music, as opposed to stick exactly the same sort of genre. And the Silver Ghost was also kind of a picture from what I normally do. That was fairly repetitive lyrically, but instrumentally very interesting. And so I have a lot of fun with that. I do. I really enjoy a different approach every time. It's Wheel of Destiny kind of, in a way, for me, was fairly sort of Pink Floydian.
It definitely.
Pink Floyd has always been one of my favorite bands. You see, so
heck yeah, heck yeah, cool. I remember when I was in high school in South Africa, right? There was this thing where everybody had, you guys we have to have school uniforms, which totally sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not a school uniform person, but I had to do it all my life. But we had those white bags, like these little bags that, I don't know how to call, they're not what we have here, people with backpacks. It was just a long white bag thing, and we would all mark things up. And there was this whole thing about Dire Straits versus Pink Floyd, and I'm like, how can you go one over the other? They are one. They're different, but you cannot do. You can sit there and put Eric Clapton versus Jimi Hendrix, and Jimi Hendrix will always win. Just saying, but you cannot put Dire Straits against. Sorry, I know maybe you want Eric Clapton, but
there is a thing with human nature about either or
instead
of and.
What's that?
What is that?
It just seemed at that
Why
point.
shouldn't it be and?
Yeah, I don't understand this. Yeah. You either want this or you want that. No, I want them both.
But if you like Dire Straits, you're gonna like Pink Floyd. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but if somebody says you have to make a choice,
no.
Even the word choice, if you have to make it, becomes not a choice because you had to make it.
And at the same time, we had Kylie Minogue.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything.
So anyway,
you can't go Pink Floyd then Kylie Minogue. You can't do that.
You can do backup singing. I don't know.
Pink Floyd and Kylie Minogue.
Yeah. Pink Floyd. How did we go there? I don't know. Sorry, James. But it's interesting. But the Wheel of Destiny did. I mean, that was the first thing I think we said was like, wow, it's got that Floyd zone, So you get to have your little trip out moment with it, which is where it takes you on a journey. And that's, I love that you have something different per thing. And maybe this whole, I mean, I'm an album person. I love albums, but that's what I was saying. Maybe, you know, this conversation with you and thinking about each song of yours, maybe it is that you put what people would put into an album, you put into a single. You know what I mean? That it's that important, each song. You know, sometimes when people make an album, they stuff everything in there.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there's often 2 great songs and the rest is rubbish. You know, I think a lot of musicians are under huge pressure to put out albums and so on. And in a way, I feel really good that I can just create a song in 3 months and I'm not under pressure. You know, it's I do other work as well, so I'm not totally reliant on music for money. So it's I can afford to spend a lot of time over a song and really try and pay a lot of attention to and make sure it's 100% perfect and the way I want it to be, and not necessarily the way I think everyone else wants it to be, but the way I would like it to be and the way I would like to send it out there, so to speak. So the album thing kind of slips into the background. But having said that, you know, you've reminded me again, and I think it is important. I'm definitely going to be putting out an album at some stage. I think just do about 1 or 2 more songs, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And then I'll put
because
an
it would
album
be
together,
really nice. To me, I want to sit down and push play and just listen to James Saunders. You know, that's for me. That's what I want. Like,
just to receive a CD, I'll post from here directly to you.
Awesome, because you know we're going to need road trip music.
Yeah, we do. We're going to be in desperate need of road trip
We're
music.
going to be traveling full time again, starting in May.
Are you thinking of coming to South Africa, or?
We're always thinking about that. That's never, you know, South Africa is, you know,
never off the table.
I think that once you go to places like South Africa and Kenya, which is also home, you know, you start to wear it. It's in your heart and soul. The dirt is still there. Like I know like some of the things we've kept over the years. I mean, when we travel, we just gave everything away. We're like, okay, that's it, off we go. But there's the treasures you keep in your life, and you just, you know, don't wash that piece of clothing because it's still got a piece of South Africa on it. You know what I mean? There's like, that's how.
Yeah.
There's things that South Africa, like you. I have postcards from friends and stuff, and I just like, I know it's home when I touch it, you know. So that's South Africa.
It's got a very strong. It's got Africa calls you. So blood, it does. Stays there forever. Yeah.
Africa's an amazing continent. It just it's so diverse and so exciting.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. It's beautiful, beautiful. I'm so glad that we connected, and we're going to play Wheel of Destiny, and we'll keep you posted. If we get to come to South Africa, we're letting you know. Man.
You're going to be a guide, okay?
Yeah.
Take us around Cape Town.
I'd love to be. I absolutely love to be.
Hey, is the waterfront still like? I remember when the waterfront started. You know, when all the restaurants and everything. Is it still like a major place to go and hang out?
Oh. If you were there in the late 80s, you said.
In early 90s.
Currently,
early 90s.
You won't even recognize the waterfront now. I mean, it's just exploded. It's 10 times bigger and 10 times busier. It's in a way, it's lost its kind of authentic, quaint, the old sort of real harbour kind of feel, and it's a little bit over touristy and commercialized. That's just my view of it. But it's still an amazing place, and it's just a lot bigger and better than you know, Ferris wheels. And there's all the things happening there. So it's become one monumental place.
What about Paternoster? Because we were talking about Paternoster on a show the other day, and then I started trying to find it, and it looked like it got a little commercial too, or no, I don't.
Well,
you know?
not really. that's still up the West Coast. Look, I haven't been there for a while, and perhaps it has. I can't really say I haven't been there for quite a few years actually, but I think it's still an absolutely fabulous place. From what I hear, from what other people have said.
I love it there.
Definitely worth a visit.
And what about the drought situation that was going on in Cape Town?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pleased to say we've had fantastic rains this year, so the drought's kind of almost a thing of the past.
Good.
Our dam level, so we have a cumulative dam level sitting at 8%, which is sort of unbelievable. We've had fantastic winter rain, so we went from something like 15% full in March to 80% full in October.
Wow.
By the end of today, which is huge. So so the drought situation is definitely alleviated, which is great.
Oh,
so you'll
great
definitely be able to have a long bath or a long shower when you're here.
Oh, good. Because when we first arrived to South Africa, in the
it's Kenya.
You've had all these
no,
restrictions about bathing and showering for such
I remember
a long
when you had to pay for the bathtub in the hotel.
You have to pay for the bathtub plug.
Yeah, the plug. Yeah, that's what I mean. And then the
and they feel like you forgot your plug. I'm like, what?
Well, America, we're going through droughts in certain areas here too, and now now we have a hurricane coming towards us. But anyway, that's okay. It happens. But the nature does its thing. So we're going to play Wheel of Death. Yeah. Well, it's going towards Mexico, like one part of Mexico. So the Baja area where we used to live is going to get it today, and then it comes through tonight with the rain. We're going to get the rain. And the desert loves that where we are. We're in the desert.
But what I find really odd, all the countries have been through droughts and massive rains. So it would behoove people to save water when there's rain. Save it.
Yes.
Get a rain barrel or 2 or 10 or 20, because a few months later you're going to need it.
You're going to have a drought again. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a cycle, but man, keep those oceans out there. You have such a beautiful coastline. Whenever you post photos, I don't eat fish, so I'm like, he's got fish, so like that. Look at that. But I'm allergic to fish. Nancy and I are allergic to fish.
We're both allergic to fish, unfortunately.
I know, but whenever you post your photos on Instagram and everybody, I encourage you to go follow James on Twitter and Instagram. Follow him on Facebook. But you have beautiful ocean photos. You got to take more ocean photos for us, like a personal request.
Wayne and I have spoken about it a lot, and he keeps telling me you've got to have the ocean as part of your musical persona. The wild peak of the ocean. He keeps telling me that I must do it, and anyway, so I'm gonna be revamping the whole website, and it's going to be lots of pictures and albatrosses and the sort of the depth and mystique and wildness of the ocean would be the underlying theme. Anyway, but that's cool. So I hear that one.
Okay. I have to ask you now because you said the ocean. Did you see the video of the guy on the kayak in the ocean and the seal comes up and throws an octopus in his face?
I haven't seen it. No.
We'll send it to you.
We have to send it to you.
Okay, I'd love to. Please send me the link. Yeah.
Because I just really want to go kayak because of that.
Okay, last question, and I asked this of Kristen and Debbie on before you, because you're on beaches, right? So if you're going to take a 1-hour walk on a coastline anywhere in the world, where would it be? Who do you want to take that walk with? They could be alive or passed on. And what are you talking about?
Oh, gosh.
I know.
Okay,
welcome to Big Blend Radio, James. Aren't you glad you said you'd do this?
Well, first of all, it would be right here and right now and talking about music, because, there's other things in life that I'd be interested to find out, and people that are great people that have influenced me out of music, but within music, because that's kind of where we are right now, I think I would probably like to go for an hour-long walk with someone like Mike Oldfield and discuss for at least an hour the how he achieves his sonic brilliance with his guitar, because There's something about the quality of his guitar playing that I just keep trying to fathom out myself. It's absolutely amazing. So that's probably where that's an answer to the question, I think.
So it's going to be on the coast where you are?
Oh, the coast, yes. Which coast? Yeah. I think maybe. Are you familiar with Hermanus?
Hermanus, yes. We went through Hermanus.
Yes, yeah. It's got a lovely 16-kilometer beach. It would probably take 3 hours to walk it, but it's an absolutely wonderful beach. So probably there.
You know what? Now I've just got Tubular Bells. Like, that was one of the first albums I bought in South Africa was Tubular Bells from Peter. Remember when we used to do all this album collecting?
That was fantastic. Yeah.
We had this exchange going on with Nancy's magazine, all the employees, and well, the one guy, the art director, he was making money off of all of us with these albums, but they were good. I mean, we got the White Album, we got everything, Tea for the Tillerman, but Tubular Bells, and I bought it because I just thought it was trippy. Yeah. Remember that.
Tea for that's such a great album, Tea for the Tillerman. I've still got it lying around somewhere. It's absolutely fantastic.
It is.
Stevens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tea for the Tillerman. Man. Cool. All right. Well, here it is. We're going to play Wheel of Destiny again, everyone, from James Saunders over in Cape Town, South Africa, or Hermanus area. And you can go to his website, James Saunders I'm going to get this right here. James Saunders musician.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter as well, Instagram, and it's Saunders. And here it is, Wheel of Destiny. Thank you so much for joining us, James. I know it's late at night, but wishing you also a happy summer.
Great. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's really, really lovely to connect again, and I wish you all the best.
You take care. Here it is, Wheel of Destiny.
You're sinking sweet and slow beneath the horizon. I see you disappearing in the haze. You're sliding in and out of this dream, just a fleeting glimpse.
everyone again. The amazing James Saunders over in Cape Town area of South Africa. And that was Wheel of Destiny. And his website, again, is jamessaundersmusician.com. And that's Saunders, Saunders. So, yeah, I love that song.
It was really nice to talk to a South African.
I know. I'm trying. Now I'm not going to be able to speak.
I
just want to.
Now the accents are.
Kan Afrikaans. Anyway, I can't. I'm going to go South African on everyone. I did good though. Anyway, so now we're going to go to the Southwest. We've got more good music coming up too.
Oh, awesome.
I know. But we're here in Tucson, Arizona, and our neighboring community is Silver City, New Mexico. I know a lot of you hear artist Victoria Chick on our shows all the time. And they're going to have their art festival coming up soon.
I love it.
And I was digging around into our vault. I jumped into the safe.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, it does. No, I'm kidding. No, because Steve Schneickert, our Hollywood historian, he's amazing. And I found the second. He reminded me yesterday. He's like, Lisa, that's the second one. I'm like, no, it can't be the second one. Really? Thought we did. No. But my memory apparently is out to lunch with my champagne. But this is a segment that he did when we were on the very beginning of our Spirit of America tour back in 2013. And we visited Silver City, New Mexico. It was one of the first places. And Billy the Kid allegedly lived there at a point. In fact, outside their one visitor bureau, they have a little cabin, replica cabin of where him and his mom lived. And
it's tiny.
So
Can I just say that's
it's
really
a tiny house. Just saying, when people want to live in a tiny house, go look at it.
There first.
Go looky. But anyway, it's really cool. And so he did a special Hollywood history segment because of Silver City, New Mexico. So we're going to play it. And everyone, don't forget, Silver City Art Association's 20th anniversary of Weekend at the Galleries happens October 5th through 8th. The information's up on blendradioandtv.com. But you can also go to their website directly, silvercityart.com. So here it is, a little Hollywood history.
Cool.
Silver City, New Mexico. What a beautiful and charming town. However, back in the 19th century, it was part of the story of the untamed West. Frontier days when the reckless fire of guns and passions blazed an era of death, destruction, and lawlessness. Days when the fiery desert sun beat down avengingly on many who dared defy justice and outrage decency. Many notable personalities lived and made their presence known in Silver City, New Mexico, and the surrounding area towns during that time. Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch, Poker Alice, Geronimo, Judge Roy Bean, and the most notably, Billy the Kid. As some historians report, William Henry McCarty Jr., a.k.a. Henry Atram, Willem H. Bonney, alias Billy the Kid, was born in the slums of New York City on 23 November 1859, the eve of the Civil War, and died on 14 July 1881. Some say 1888. His father passed away or left the family when he was quite young. His mother, or was she his aunt, Catherine Atram, moved the family to Silver City, New Mexico, where he grew up and attended 6th Street Elementary School. At age 15, Billy was orphaned when his mother passed away from tuberculosis. He then became involved with the wrong crowd, and the trouble began. Billy could be charming and polite at one moment, and at the next moment, he would become outraged and violent, which led to the gun shootings and killings, and which now leads me to Hollywood history as I recall it. As a child, I viewed The Outlaw, produced and directed by the eccentric, however highly talented and brilliant Howard Hughes. The film starred Jane Russell as Real McDonald, Jack Butel as Billy the Kid, Thomas Mitchell as Pat Garrett, and Walter Houston as Doc Holliday. Looking back, this film is totally fictionalized. However, as a kid, I loved it. The horses. The guns firing. Pow, pow, bing, bing. People getting shot. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, boom, boom. Oh, you got me. I actually watched the film on television in my Hopalong Cassidy outfit, guns and holster included. The film outlined the last days of Billy's life, and that also of Doc Holliday's in Lincoln County, New Mexico. I was sad to see Doc Holliday get shot and die, which was fiction, as he did not die that way. However, I was truly happy to see Billy the Kid and Real McDonald ride off into the sunset. Billy was not shot and killed by Pat Garrett in this film. Who knows the truth of his death? Historians do, I presume, or do they? Years later, while living in Southern California, I had the pleasure of meeting Jane Russell at a restaurant named Cyrano's on Sunset Boulevard. What a charming and lovely woman. I'm Steve Schneickert, and this is Hollywood history as I recall it.
Those were some amazing sound effects, right? It's like we have the rom-pom-pom era of Steve. I know. Bing, bing. But it is the rom-pom era.
When the bullet hits metal, it's bing.
I know. I love going back into the vault and just, I love it. I'm so excited. So when we travel, I'm going to be calling Steve. Steve.
We need sound effects.
We got a new one. We got a new place. But Hollywood history is everywhere, and I love it that here it is, the Outlaw movie and Billy the Kid. Again, I mentioned the Silver City Art Association Weekend at the Galleries happening October 5th through 8th if you're in the southwest world of southwest New Mexico or Tucson. I gave the wrong website link. It is silvercityart.com, not .org, but .com. But it's all up on blendradioandtv.com as well if you go there. And they are having a mimosa brunch, Nancy.
Sounds like we better go.
Music, restaurants, artists, and they have a pop-up exhibit. I like anything that pops up. All right, so now to our next segment, which is some music. We want to close the show with some great music. We talk about travel.
Better.
I know. Traveler. This is the song that the Walkabout Band, now they're Australian, New York band, and I love these guys. And as soon as I heard Traveler, and that was it, and they came on the show with their album that's out right now, their latest album, and I love it because it's a really positive album. It's called Things Are Looking Up, and everyone, you got to go check them out, walkaboutband.com. And this is from their first self-titled album, so Walkabout Band, the Walkabout. You got to do the walkabout. Well, the pop-up exhibit. Are we back to that again? You can't behave yourself. One sip of champagne. Yeah, right. Anyway, I want to give a shout-out to Kevin over there, the guitarist and writer, Kevin Anderson, because he joined our 1 Hour Walk group on Facebook after we had our radio chat with them. And I want to thank you for all the beach photos because I love the coast, and it's just so nice to see the blue ocean, and but I do ask that you take a photo of a lifeguard at some point. We want to see the lifeguards. Just saying. And we love Chet the seagull too. So thank you for that. Everyone, 1hourwalk.com. If you go there, you'll connect to our Facebook group. We all share our walking photos of where we are. So you know, today we had England with Glenn Burrows at Norfolk Tours. we're all over. Silver City, New Mexico was in there too. So it's really cool. People just sharing where they're walking, and it's a healthy, cool, fun thing. Okay, are you ready for their music?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to play Traveler. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on Big Blend Radio. You can keep up with us on our shows. Just go to bigblendradio.com. We air Sunday through Friday. Sometimes we're live and crazy like this. Sometimes we pre-record things because, we do. But
we're ambidextrous.
It's always fun. It's always fun. That's the thing. So thank you all for joining us. Don't forget our new Parks and Travel magazine, the October through December issue, comes out tomorrow, and you can get that at nationalparktraveling.com. But here it is, Traveler.